Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the third intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Goal 6 and today we will cover the expansion units, project and chant along. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazana Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Salih Al-Ujan. So let's begin. Our objectives in today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson you will be able to listen to a chant and chant it, and also to answer yes or no questions and identify new vocabulary items. So let's begin with our first part in today's lesson. The first part here we have a project, which is a very interesting one. I would like you to try to research the benefits of sleep and present your findings to the rest of the class. So we have in this unit, we have read about the importance of sleep and also not only sleep but even nap, the importance of nap, and we have read about siesta and how it's worldwide it's important, and lots of people from different parts of the world they try to take when they can a nap, and also we have read about its benefits both on the body and also as in health, and also to improve memory and a lot of benefits. So what I would like you to do in this project, as you're going to see some interesting findings, is not to only limit yourself with the findings or the benefits that we have read in the reading text in the lesson before. I would like you to research, use the internet to research for more benefits about sleep and how and also about its importance to our body, to our health, and also to our memory. And when you do this, you try to discuss these findings, to discuss the results that you may come up with your friends or classmates or maybe your family members. And you will see some interesting findings that they may change your opinion, your concept of sleeping. So this is our project for this unit, which is to research about the importance of sleep. And now let's move on to the second part of our lesson today. I would like you please to open your books on page 76. I would like you please to open your books on page 76. On page 76, when you open this page, you will see different pictures. And let me ask you about the first one. Who are the men in these pictures? So you can have a look on your book about the picture you can see and tell me, who are these men? Are they, and what do you think the kind of practice they are performing? And when you do this, tell me, what do the other two pictures show? So you have almost three pictures. You'll see a man and also a group of men and also a picture of a place. So what do you think these pictures is trying to show? Save your answers for now, as we are about to learn more about these pictures when we finish or when we read this chant, the following chant. So let's begin with our title. What is the title of the chant? What is the title? As you can see, the big headline of this chant. The title of our chant is Assimilating. And if you remember last time when we have read about the different phases and different stages of taking a system, also its importance, about the cultural shock. So we have talked about assimilating, which is when someone assimilates into a new culture, he or she learns to accept and take part in the customs, traditions, and also way of life. So when we say that someone is assimilating, it means that he's fully adapted, fully adjusted to the new life or to the new culture, or even to the customs or the new customs or the traditions he has been new to. So this is what do you mean by assimilating. So now, what we need to do is that we're going to chant this chant, and I'm going to read it for the first time. Just try to listen for the first time, and for the second time I will read it to you again, but for the second time you try to chant with me. So I'm going to chant it for the first time, and for the second time I would like you to chant it with me, as we're going to detect for the second time, to try to detect some rhyming words that we will use later on. So let's begin our chant. The title of our chant called Assimilating. Welcome to our country. We are glad to have you here, but please respect our rules and the customs we hold dear. Our habits may seem different. Our cuisine may taste strange. So if you want to settle in, you will need to make some change. Assimilating is the key to coexist in harmony. We have our differences, you and I, but it's all right if we don't see eye to eye. There is no reason why. No, there is no reason why we can't get along. If we respect one another, one friendship will be strong. Our friendship will be strong. So, this is the first part of our chant. Now, I'm going to chant it again, but this time, while I chant, you try to chant with me. So, let's begin. Welcome to our country. We are glad to have you here, but please respect our rules and the customs we hold dear. Our habits may seem different. Our cuisine may taste strange. So if you want to settle in, you will need to make some change. Assimilating is the key to coexist in harmony. We have our differences, you and I, but it's all right if we don't see eye to eye. There is no reason why. No, there is no reason why we can't get along. If we respect one another, our friendship will be strong. Our friendship will be strong. So, this is the first part of the chant, as you have read. So here in this chant, someone is presenting his customs and tradition, and also he's calling for others to respect the customs and all his customs, and also to accept them as they are. And they say that, and he said, assimilating is the key to coexist, and it is the key to live in harmony. Not only this, but we need to have, all of us, you and I, all of us, we have our differences, of course. So what do we need to do? We need that to accept our differences, so our friendship will stay longer and also will be strong. So this is the gist, this is the main idea of our first part of this chant. Now, let's read the second part, and we will do as we did here. So, I'm going to read it for the first time. You only listen, and for the second time, while I read it, you try to chant with me. Learning our native language may seem overwhelming at the start, but you will pick it up eventually, so be patient, don't lose heart. You will grow to appreciate our people, get accustomed to our ways, and cherish our traditions. It's all part of the adjustment phase. Assimilating is the key to fit into society. So, this is the second part. Now, I'll read it again, and you please chant with me. So, let's begin. Learning our native language may seem overwhelming at the start, but you will pick it up eventually. So be patient, don't lose heart. You will grow to appreciate our people, get accustomed to our ways, and cherish our traditions. It's all part of the adjustment phase. Assimilating is the key to fit into society. So here, in this second part of our chant, it says here also, he is stressing the importance to accept change. Not only this, but also to accept to be patient, not to lose heart, and because you will pick up the language, the more you are getting accustomed to deal with local people and also living in that country, and also you will eventually cherish and you will love the traditions of that country, because all of this called practices or parts of the adjustment phase. So he ended the chant by the phrase, assimilating is the key to fit into the society and also to blend in with the society, and also it's the key to coexist in harmony and accept each other's differences. So this is the main idea. This is the main idea of our chant, which is assimilating to accept each other. Now, while reading this chant, we have come across certain rhyming words. And I will remind you again, what do you mean by rhyming words? The words that have that ends with the same sound. Words that ends with the same sound. So here I have listed a group of rhyming words. Let's read them together, and you will see how each one of these words ends in the same sound. So the first word we have is here, and the words that rhymes with it, which is dear. So here, dear, here, dear. And the second one, the second word we have is strange, which rhymes with change. So strange, change, strange, change. And the next one, we have I, which rhymes with Y. I, Y. And the next one, we have along, which rhymes with strong. So we have along, strong. And next, we have ways, that rhymes with phase. So we would say ways, phase, ways, phase. And the last one, here we have start, which rhymes with heart. So we can say start, heart, start, heart. And I am very sure that you can even may have your own chant. You can come up also with lots of rhyming words, whether they were mentioned here in this chant or the words that you may know of. So this is what you mean by rhyming words, those words that end with the same sound. Now, let us move on to the other page. So here in this page, we have a couple of exercises that we need to answer. So let's begin with our first exercise here, a vocabulary exercise. Match the following expressions with their meaning. So as you can see here we have 7 expressions, and what we need to do is try to match each of these vocabularies or each of these words into to their meaning. So let's first read those words, and then we read the definition, and then we can answer them together. So the first expression we have is to hold dear. When we read in the chant, which is when he says that the customs we hold dear. And the second expression, which is to settle in. The third one, to see eye to eye. And the fourth one, to get along. And the fifth one, to lose heart and to pick up. And number 7, to get accustomed to. So as you can see, these are expressions that are common, very common, and they are used in this chant. So it's very important that we can, or we learn the meaning of this expression as we can use them in when we practice English. So here are the list of meanings. We have A, to agree, B, to get discouraged, or C, to feel at home, and D, to cherish, or E, to have a good relationship, and F, to get used to, and finally G, to learn. So let's start with the first one. The first one says to hold dear. So when he said customs we hold dear, what do you think the meaning of we hold dear? Very good. The answer here we have is D, to cherish. When we say we cherish our customs, it means that we love it very much. It means that we like these customs and we accept it as they are. So let's go on to number 2, to settle in. To settle in, what do you think we mean by this word? Very good. To settle in, this expression means to feel at home. When we read in the chant to settle in, it means to feel at home, to rest, to relax, to be steady, to settle in. Number 3, to see eye to eye. To see eye to eye. This expression, this long expressions mean to agree. To see eye to eye, it means to agree of something or to agree with something. Now, number 4, to get along. To get along. To get along means to have a good relationship. We say that in the chant that we have to accept each other to get along. It means that to have a good relationship and to coexist in harmony. Number 5, to lose heart. Be patient, don't lose heart. So this is the sentence of this word. So what do you mean by to lose heart? The meaning of this one is B, to get discouraged, to get frustrated. This is what you mean by to lose heart. And number 6, to pick up. So here we have 2 left. Pick up means G, to learn. When he said that to pick up the language, it means to learn the language. And finally, to get accustomed to, it means that to get used to. It means that to get used to, as we have read in the chant. So here you go. These are the answers of our first question. Now, let us move on to the following exercise. Here, I would like you to make sentences with the following verbs. So here we have 3 verbs. I would like you to make your own sentences with these verbs. So I'm going to show you only sample answers. You can write your own answers based on these verbs. So the verbs are to respect, to appreciate, to cherish. And why this lesson or this exercise is important? Is important just to show you the differences between these 3 verbs. So let's begin with our first one, to respect. It is important, for example, when we say it is important to respect the customs and traditions of another culture. It's important that we respect them. It's important that we not disrespect these customs, and we have a great, at most, a great appreciation for these customs. Let's move on to the second one, to appreciate. When we say, for example, I appreciate your advice on how to assimilate into the culture here. I appreciate. I am expressing my thanks. So this is what they mean by I appreciate. It means that I'm expressing my thanks and my gratitude to you. This is what they mean by the verb I appreciate. Finally, to cherish, it means the example of this verb is I will always cherish the new friends that I made while I was in the country. I will always cherish. I will always hold to my heart. I will always love the new friends that I made while I was at the country. So we may that all of these verbs, of course, they are expressing emotional feelings. So, but there are slight differences between of these verbs. So the first one, to respect, it means to obey. It means to try not to use them in a bad way, these customs and traditions. And appreciate, it means to show your thanks, to show you are thankful, to show you are grateful. And to cherish, it means to hold dear, to love the new friends, as we have in this example. Now, comprehension questions. So here we're going to make yes or no or true false questions about the things that we have read in the chant. So let's begin with the first one. The person greets the newcomer with pleasure. So based on what we have read in the chant, the person greeting the newcomer with pleasure. What do you think? Do you agree with this phrase or not? Very good. Yes, we agree with this phrase. Let's start with the second one. The person advises the newcomer not to change. The person advises the newcomer not to change. What do you think of this? Is this what we get from the chant? Very good. He's not advised them to not change. He is advising them to accept change. And number 3, he says that it is okay if they don't agree. He says that it's okay if you don't agree. What do you think of this? Very good. The answer is true. Yes, it's okay if they don't agree. What about number 4? He recommends they have mutual respect for one another. They have mutual respect. It means that they respect each other. Very good, yes. And number 5, he says that learning the language may be difficult. Learning the language may be difficult. What do you think of this? Is this what we get from the chant? Very good. The answer is yes. And number 6, after some time, the newcomer will get used to the lifestyle, of course, as mentioned in the chant. And finally, he says that the newcomer will never fit in. The newcomer will not fit in, will not get accustomed to the new traditions or the new customs. Do you agree with this, or do you think this is what we get from the chant? Very good. Of course, the answer is false. So here you go. These are the answers of the comprehension question. Now, moving on to the last part of our lesson today, here I have a couple of discussion questions that I would like you to think of and maybe discuss it with people around you. The first one is, do you agree with the advice in the chant? The advice in the chant by accepting change, accepting differences, and you will eventually fit in with the new society or the new customs and tradition. Do you agree with this, or you have other opinion? This is for you to think of. The second one, what difficulties do people face when they move to another country? We have read a lot in this unit and also previous units about what kind of difficulties people usually face when they move to another country. So, can you recall some of these difficulties? And also number 3, what should the newcomer do to assimilate into new society? From reading the chant, they mentioned some tips about how to fit in or how to assimilate in the new society. Would you please read it again and try to think of the answer about how to assimilate into new society? And before you go, the last question we have for today, which is, what should the local people do to make a newcomer feel welcome? Now, it's the part of the local people. What do you think they should do? So we have read a lot about this. What are the role of local people? So in your opinion, what do you think the role of the local people to help the newcomer and also to make them feel welcome at home? So just think of these questions. Now, we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.